withstand hurricanes and all sorts of environmental things that we normally go through here in South Florida. It is there and it is strong as ever. It has original lattice work, which is beautiful. It boasts 2 courtyards, a swimming pool, a beautiful library. It's just a really, really quaint construction. And so if you've not been to Meridian at Lantana, you want to schedule a tour. Not only do you have, the 2 courtyards, but each room actually has its own special front door entrance. So if you ever go, you're going to see that they have their special little tables at the front door that they're able to individualize with all of their tchotchkes or pictures to make it their own home, because it is. So it's more than just the apartment living. It's also this special community. And complete with a long hallway to honor our veterans. It's just such a treat. It also has this little pub area that families use for birthday parties and cool little get-togethers right off of the pool. So it's just one of those special properties that you do not want to miss out on. If you've never been, you are missing out on one of South Florida's unique independent/assisted living. All rooms are duly licensed for independent living and assisted living, which is not common in South Florida. So make sure you give us a call. I'll have a phone number for you. If you keep watching, you'll see our 954-543-0773 that you can call and speak to me, and I'd be happy to get you a special private tour at Meridian at Lantana. On top of this beautiful building, you also have really engaging programming, entertainment for our residents. So Edwin over there, who's our director of entertainment, is what we our activities director. He keeps everything very lively. They have a choral group there that still has been able to meet throughout the pandemic using virtual concepts to be able to meet with their choral director. It's very, very promising to see people continue to be engaged with one another. Obviously, the vaccine has helped us open up things a little bit more. So Meridian at Lantana continues to have that energy of life and a very homey feel. You feel like you've come home to. On top of that beautiful environment that they have some of the most exquisite dining. And I had the fortunate experience to invite over SNALA, which is the Skilled Nursing and Assisted Living Alliance, for what we call a SNALA pop-up. And these pop-ups have been formulated during this time for us to continue to get together in a socially distanced way, to continue to build a relationship with one another here in the healthcare industry. So we're talking about a very small group of 5 to 7 people that meet for a meal, that meet for an opportunity to get to know one another, not for elevator speeches, but to really get to know one another, play 2 truths and a lie, and figure out where people are from and still what they do and how we can help each other help our community. So this NALA pop-up happened at the Meridian at Lantana last week, and we were blown away at the meal that was prepared for us by their own Chef Steve. You'll see some of the pictures there on the screen. You've got a delicious, it was a chicken with this like quinoa with olives and drizzled with a balsamic glaze, and a delicious fruit cup that had a special mango ice cream on top. And then the takeaway was the very, very sweet rolls that were topped with these candied pecans. So delicious, and such a phenomenal representation of what the residents at Meridian at Lantana are able to enjoy on a daily basis, all because of our dear Chef Steve. So Chef is actually going to be on the line with us. I'm not sure if he's called in just yet, but I did want to talk a little bit about him because we are so fortunate to be able to have him as part of our team at Pacifica Senior Living here in Palm Beach. Chef Steve has a diversified cooking and chef experience. He is studied at 3 culinary schools here in the United States, as well as cooked for hotels, country clubs, and 5-star restaurants in the U.S. and internationally around the world. And now we have him at Meridian Lantana. So many people know that one of the best ways to a person's heart is through their stomach. And one of the best ways that our residents are being very well taken care of at Meridian and Lantana is through their stomach. They are getting a chance to have the best in dining. And you can't always say that once people go to independent or assisted living, but Meridian at Lantana can. And I am a testament to the fact that that food is delicious. And we will be hosting more events there, and I'll tell you more about those here towards the end of the show. But I believe we have Chef Steve on the line, so we're going to get him on.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining, guys. So this is Stephen McCarthy, and like I told you, he is a very accomplished chef, and we are just lucky to have him.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
It's
So
my pleasure to be here.
thank you, thank you. So tell us a little bit about you, Chef Steve. Tell us about where you're from and what do you love to do?
Well, I grew up here in South Florida. I went to high school at Coconut Creek High School, and I went to Atlantic Vocational for my last 2 years of high school, and I participated in the culinary arts program. So I was born in Colorado, but basically a South Floridian. After high school, I went into the Air Force, and I went to their culinary arts program. At that time, when I was in school, it wasn't the in vogue thing to go to culinary school. We were still sort of old school, where you got most of your training on the job.
Right.
But I felt that going into the military was the right thing to do for me after high school, and so I went there and I participated in the culinary arts program.
And
Learned
now
a lot.
you're
You'd be
with us.
surprised. It wasn't all just sea rations and food like that. We actually did some real cooking there, and I learned quite a bit. Specifically, how to cook for large amounts of people, which has helped me throughout my career.
Yeah, yeah.
From the Air Force, I've worked here in South Florida at country clubs and hotels, and used all my knowledge to help me grow through that, through the early parts of my career.
Yeah.
Working in the country clubs in the area, I think, really prepared me for senior living. One of the reasons I wanted to go into senior living is because I had a young daughter at the time, and it was better hours and quality of life. As most people know, working in a restaurant can be quite difficult, challenging.
Right.
So, like I said, the country clubs and the hotels really prepared me for senior living. One thing I like about it is the fact that we make a connection with people. The country clubs taught me that to really, cater to the member, and in this case, the resident.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think that allowed me to really make the connection with people, and I think that's how I've been successful. I don't see this part as just another place to work. I really like the interaction with the residents. I think that's really helped me.
I can tell, I've been with the company for a couple of months now, and you are one of the standout experiences I've had in terms of working with someone that also works with the residents and has that listening ear and that desire to want to do things with a spirit of excellence. I love that about you. And I was telling them, and I showed them, I don't know if you saw, I showed them the picture of the plate that we were enjoying at this Nala pop-up, and how you elevated it to such a degree that helped our minds enjoy it even more than it was already delicious. And so I know you have experience in the restaurant. Tell me a little bit about what that looked like. What did you do on the restaurant side of things?
Well, the restaurants, I worked in multicultural restaurants, Danish restaurant, Italian restaurants. I really honed my trade in the catering field, preparing food for weddings and other catering events. And that's where the attention to detail is most important. As we know, people eat with their eyes first.
Right.
So it's very important that the food that is put in front of people is very eye appealing. We take a little extra time in making sure that the vegetables sort of color, match everything else on the plate. The protein, the vegetables, the starches, that they all are colorful and are vibrant and catches your eye.
Right.
And I find that also that really helps with seniors. I think a lot of people want to eat something that they recognize and that stands out and is appealing to them.
Right.
And so that training, that aspect with working in the catering field and the attention to detail, I think has really helped me understand and connect with the seniors.
I would say, I mean, being in marketing, obviously, I've done a lot of tours and talked to a lot of families, whether it's the senior themselves looking for independent living or the loved one helping mom or dad look for assisted living. One of the number one questions and one of the number one experiences people are looking for is the culinary experience. And they want to know that the food is going to taste good, obviously, and they want to know that the food is fresh. Could you tell us a little bit about the culinary experience at Meridian at Lantana? What does a day at Meridian look like for the dining, from breakfast to lunch to dinner?
Well, the one thing I wanted to say, and I believe the reason that food is so important to seniors, especially when they're trying to choose a place to live, is that they see us 3 times a day, 7 days a week. So we're the ones who really can make a connection, and we talk to the senior, and we talk to the resident every single day, every single meal. So it's very easy to establish, ourselves and really get to know everybody. And so a typical day is, right at 7 o'clock when we open for breakfast, there's quite a few people waiting for us to open the doors, and
Right.
they're eager to come in. And like I said, it's their chance to be social, especially now with COVID.
Right.
This is their chance to speak to people, be with people, and I think it's very important. And one thing I've noticed is that food is the last thing that a lot of people have in control in their lives. So, they're in a senior living community for certain reasons, and whatever that is for that resident, that's different. But they can still make their choices with food. And I find that giving them a variety and making sure it's hot and it looks good is really appealing to them. They enjoy that. They like the making choices. I've made a lot of good connections with people because I realize one thing is that the residents that live there, they're not just people in their 80s and 90s. These are people that are very accomplished in their lives.
Right.
And so I use that to help me create the menus. There's a lady here that is on the food council, and for most of her career and her life before she retired, she wrote cookbooks. She did cooking columns in her local newspaper and judged cooking contests out on Long Island. So
Wow.
when I found this out, I said, this is a very valuable person to have,
Right.
on my side. And I really cherish the fact that, I get to speak to her and she can give me some of her wisdom.
Right.
I have other people that have run restaurants, bed and breakfast, and so I have a variety of people that will tell me what, give me suggestions on what to do and what not to do, and it's very helpful. I look at it as a positive, getting, speaking to the residents and having this connection with them.
Yeah, the fact that you talk about the fact that they're not just people who've gotten older and moved to a facility, right? They are people who have lived and continue to live lives that are full of experiences and wisdom and likes and dislikes, that have decided to move to a community for their own security and peace of mind. And I love the fact that you are able to blend in that dining experience as being a crucial part of that, and including them in on that dining experience. It's not just you making it up for them, you're listening to them. Tell me more about that council that you talked about.
Yeah, so in our community, and like a lot of communities, we have a resident council, and one member of the resident council is in charge of food. So she's my liaison with the food department, so that when the residents have complaints and compliments and suggestions, they go to her. So she's my go-to, in between the residents and myself.
Nice.
And like I said, I find it very valuable, some of the suggestions, and I take that information, and that's how I create the menus.
Right.
I try not to make things too fancy, even though I created a fancy menu for you
Yes.
and our guest last week.
Yes.
But I try to really listen to people and get them, get their input and make sure that it's things that they recognize and things that they like. And I do try to slip in some healthy food. You had quinoa the other day, and
Yes.
a lot of residents don't really know what that is, but when I make it for them, they're like, "Hey, that tastes pretty good." And
Yeah,
I'm like, "Hey,
yeah.
did you know that is one of the highest contents of protein that you can have?"
Really?
Vegetarian. And so, yes, it's very high. You get almost 4 grams of protein from.
Oh, wow. Eat your
grams of
quinoa, people.
So, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be foolish of me not to use the experiences of the residents to help create menus and have the dining experience. It would just be foolish on my part.
I'm so glad that you understand that, because I know people may not understand why the dining is what Steve alluding to about the need to include people in their living experience. We can't make it up for people. These are not children that don't have, even children have likes and dislikes, right? But these are grown people who have sat on boards and run companies and spent weekends out with other couples at delicious 5-star restaurants. They're coming and they don't need someone telling them what to do. They want to be able to have that inclusivity for everything, and dining is definitely one of those.
Yeah, I tell people, because I speak to people who are here for a tour and are considering living at the community, and I tell them, I said, what I want you to understand is I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure you have the right amount of calories, that no added sugars, no added salts, but I'm going to make it so you don't know that I'm doing that for you.
Right.
And I'm going to create a menu so that you can be healthy, live longer, and have very flavorful food without knowing that I'm trying to take care of you. And they get a big kick out of that when I tell them that.
That's great, and it makes you feel good too to know that someone is looking out for you, and not just putting together things that taste good, but also things that are good for you. Because health obviously is uber important. That's what we are doing at an assisted living, at an independent assisted living. We are ensuring their health, and lengthening their years here on Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And then that's what the adult children of our residents, that's what they want to hear. They want to hear that we're going to take care of them.
Right.
And
Right.
So, I take that position very seriously. I do care about every resident that we have. Complain or not complain, I listen to you and I try to do my best to take care of you.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. I was just speaking to another community relations director at our Forest Trace community, and we were talking about how important it is for each one of us that works inside of one of these communities to remember that we are taking care of, that we are working in service of other people's loved ones. So we think of them like we would our own loved ones. So when we prepare food and we're cooking it with love, right, we're thinking about those people that we're feeding. So that's awesome to know that you have that same like-mindedness.
Yeah, and that's what I use for, the teachable moments for our staff. They don't always understand, it's not easy for young adults to understand what people in their 80s and 90s are going through.
Right.
So one way I try to make it through to them, get it through to them, as I say, would you feed your grandmother or grandfather that? Would you tell them no when they want more coffee? So I try to make a connection, that, we're taking care of people. And so, consider everybody your grandfather or your grandmother and treat them the same.
Right.
That's how I get the staff to buy in.
I
Doesn't
love
always
that.
work, but I try my best.
Wait, well, I'm not a millennial. I don't know what generation I am, but I'm somewhere after that. And so I know sometimes teaching that is the biggest part. It's not that people can't learn that, though it's teachable. So I love that you are taking that, taking that responsibility to teach that to those that you would hope they would learn quickly, and I believe they can. You guys have a really great team there at Meridian at Lantana. I love coming there, and I'm looking forward to eating more there. Speaking of eating more there, we do have an event that we will have a flyer soon coming up on May 12th. It's the Summer Shindig. Is that what we're calling it, Steve?
Yes. Yes, we don't know how to spell shindig yet, but we're going to work on that.
I think shindig, SHINDIG. I think. Google it, people. We'll make sure it's right. But what more can we expect? I know we haven't yet worked up an actual menu there, but what are some? We might as well while we're on air, we can do a brainstorm session. What are some of the ideas of things that you would cook?
Well, we're going to take advantage of the summer, and Florida has a lot of produce, so we're going to take advantage of everything that's in season.
Nice.
Fresh corn, fresh watermelon, items like that. We're going to incorporate that into our menu. One thing I like to make with watermelon that people don't really eat all the time is I make a nice salad with feta cheese and watermelon and fresh mint, and you have the crispness of the watermelon mixed with the saltiness of the cheese, and then the fragrant mint. It really makes a nice dish, very colorful, and it really kind of explodes on your palate.
My
so we're going
mouth
to do
is
things
watering.
like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep it light, and we're going to keep it barbecue, because that's what people like in the summertime.
Right.
And we're going to make a really festive, flavorful, colorful menu.
Steve, I'm telling you, I could eat that right now. You whip me up some of this watermelon salad, and I can tell everybody how it is. I can be the test taker or test taster.
Okay.
Steve, thank you so much for taking the time to be on tonight. It has been such an eye-opening experience to learn more about your background and why you are so talented at what you do. You've got a ton of experience, and you also have the right heart and the right mind to be the best at what you do.
Well, I appreciate all your support. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. We will talk with you soon, and we'll get our menu hankered down for this May 12th Summer Shindig at Meridian at Lantana.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Steve. Have a great night. All right, guys. Yay! Wasn't that great? He's really, really great, guys. That's why, today I was thinking, who needs to be on this show from Pacifica? We had somebody slated that is one of our third-party partners in the community, which we will bring you more of. They are slated. But I thought, what better time to highlight another one of our awesome employees with Pacifica than our dining. They do so much. They do so much for, not only for our residents, but also for all of the events that we do for marketing and the things that we do for the community. We actually have a dessert giveaway that we're doing for Kings Point Tamarack that our awesome chef Irvin over at Pacifica Forest Trace is doing for us out for the community. So they do so much, not just for our residents, but also for our community. And I wanted to highlight that. So we just want to thank Chef Steve again for being an awesome cook. Thinking about my waistline, right? He's got me in mind to cook healthy things. That tastes great. So again, thank you so much, Chef Steve. Steve McCarthy. Alrighty, so guys, we're going to go to a little bit of a commercial. When we come back, we are going to talk about our Happiness Chromosome Poetry Corner and give you a little taste from the Happiness Chromosome. We'll be right back. Pacifica Senior Living is proud to do what we love and truly believe in providing compassionate, personalized care that ensures dignity and respect for all of our residents. We'd love for you to join the Pacifica Senior Living family and settle into one of our senior living communities here in sunny South Florida that will have you or your loved ones enjoying your retirement years to the fullest. Contact us today to join the Pacifica Senior Living family. We can't wait to welcome you home. Call 954-543-0773. You're listening to Pacifica Live, hosted by Pacifica Senior Living. Dial 888-565-1470 to join in on the show today. Catch us on Facebook, Twitch, Roku, LinkedIn, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Simply search AMP2 TV Productions. Now here's our show. Enjoy. All right. Thanks so much for coming back. Hopefully you have finished your dinner. You're halfway through. Maybe you're having your tea after dinner. Apparently green tea is good after you eat. And I have been meaning to implement that and haven't yet, but I will tonight. I'm going to make me some green tea once I get home. Don't forget to make sure that you are liking and sharing this video across your friends group. Oh yay, go Air Force. That was for that was for Chef Steve, whose experience started in the armed forces. Is the Air Force is armed forces too, right? Okay. Please just don't April Stewart. Hey, April over at Artist Boca. Hashtag Boca Best. You know, I can't stop from saying that. I love you, April. But hey, yeah, so make sure that you are liking and sharing this video. We are on every other Monday, not every Monday, every other Monday, right here on the AMP2 TV platform. And we'll be sharing it on our Pacifica pages soon. But for now, just come on over to AMP2 TV and you can watch the Facebook Live from here. You can also join in on your Fire Stick, Roku, iHeartRadio, LinkedIn. It's all over. You just have to search AMP2 TV and you'll find us every other Monday at 7 p.m. You can also call into the show right now if you like at 888-565-1470. We'd love to talk with you, answer any questions you have, or if you just want to have fun with me because I am alone here tonight. So if you'd like to join me, feel free to call in. The number again, 888-565-1470. And while I'm waiting for you guys to call in, we are going to go right over to the Happiness Chromosome Poetry Corner. For those of you who are like, what in the world is the Happiness Chromosome Poetry Corner? Say that 10 times fast, 5 times fast. So the Happiness Chromosome is a book written by Gail Banter. And who is Gail Banter, you ask? Gail Banter is one of our amazing residents at Pacifica Forest Trace. She was our first resident in our resident interview series, The Person I've Always Been. We'll have another one of those here in the next month or so. But if you didn't get a chance to watch hers, scroll on down. Matter of fact, I'll put the link on my page. If you're watching on my page, we'll find a way to get it to you, or you can just email me or connect with me and I'll get it to you. It was a really, really great presentation where we got a chance to sit down and talk to Gail, not only about her past life before she moved to Forest Trace, which was 10 years ago, but also why she said it was the best decision that she ever made in her life, why it was the thing that got her through this COVID-19 pandemic quarantine. She was still with her friends, and also how she continued to write. She's a writer of prose, and she wrote 3 books since she's been at Forest Trace, and she's 83. Well, she's 82. She's going to be 83. It's just a testament to how just because you get older, not only does it not mean that you can't continue to live a full, vibrant life, but it means that you can even more continue to be the person you've always been. So we discovered that she wrote this book, which actually has been nominated for an award. It's an Evie Award with the Colorado Self-Publisher, something or other. Google it. But it's the Evie Award, EVVY. It's super fun. She's got a lot of little poetry pieces in here. And so we dedicated the Happiness Chromosome Poetry Corner to reading out of her book every show. So we've got another awesome read done by Aiden Pollard. Again, don't pay any mind to that last name. You will enjoy it. It's super short and sweet. So stay on so that you can hear more about Gail Banter's Time Warp from the Happiness Chromosome.
Time is a thing over which most disagree. What seems a good time to you may not be so for me. Time studies have reported that perception of time can be distorted. Time can be condensed. I know, it makes no sense. Time may be drawn out. Of this, I have no doubt. When you come home from work, longing to be pampered, but your wife is so ill-tempered and just wouldn't stop to carp. You know you've encountered a phenomenal time warp.
Wasn't that wonderful? Time warp. So when I was reading this and trying to get a better understanding of it, so what does this mean? It's like seeing art that someone does, because it is art, right? But let's say visual art, and you're like, what did the artist mean to convey with this abstract piece, right? But with time warp, what I understand is that everybody's time doesn't necessarily mesh up, right? What's important to you in the moment may not be important to someone else in the moment, and what you end up experiencing when your times collide is a time warp. It's not the same. You're having to like go into these different spaces of time for different people. We all think and feel differently at different times. So hence the man who just wanted to come home and be pampered, and he comes home and his wife is not in his space, and he experienced a time warp. So you are welcome. I explained the poetry to you. If you'd like your own copy of the Happiness Chromosome, feel free to reach out to me. You can dial that 954-543-0773, or you can dial, or you can message me actually, Melinda Twilley Pollard. You love that? You love that voice too? I know you do, Angela Walls Carthrun. I wonder who that could be. But yeah, get with me. I will get you connected. Matter of fact, on the next show, I will have a better way for you to get your hands on this book. There's some really funny poetry pieces in here. There's one called Elbow Mania. I don't know if you can see that, but it's all about how we're bumping elbows during this coronavirus time. So really, really fun. So that was the Happiness Chromosome Poetry Corner. I'm wondering, can I continue to say that? I feel like every time I say it, I sound weird when I say the Happiness Chromosome Poetry Corner. So stay tuned next time as we present another piece from Gail Banter's book. Alrighty, so we are going to actually, if we could go to a quick rejoin, and I'll be right back. Thanks for joining us here, Pacifica Live, hosted by Pacifica Senior Living. We come to you every other Monday at 7 p.m., so if you're joining us on Facebook, be sure to like and share. You can dial 954-543-0773 to schedule a tour at any of our beautiful South Florida communities today. Pacifica Senior Living is proud to do what we love and truly believe in providing compassionate, personalized care that ensures dignity and respect for all of our residents. We'd love for you to join the Pacifica Senior Living family and settle into one of our senior living communities here in sunny South Florida that will have you or your loved ones enjoying your retirement years to the fullest. Contact us today to join the Pacifica Senior Living family. We can't wait to welcome you home. Call 954-543-0773. Alrighty, we're back. Thanks so much for sticking with us here at Pacifica Live every other Monday. Remember, come 7 p.m. every other Monday to either your radio station or Facebook Live or whatever platform you are listening to podcast. You can meet me right here. And we will have another reading from the Happiness Chromosome. And we will also have another guest. I believe next week's guest is going to be from Sobey Innovative Rehab. Dr. Sobey and Simone Dunkley, the Executive Vice President over there, they're going to join me right here in studio, socially distanced, of course. And so it's going to be a fun time. So make sure you join us, not next Monday, but the Monday following. And make sure you're sharing and liking this video as well, too, okay? One of the things that I did want to talk about that I know a lot of people don't understand sometimes, in the senior living industry, we are often tasked with getting you to move into our communities. And I think I've done a really great job. I think you can understand the more that you watch that we have some really unique options for you with Pacifica Senior Living in South Florida. So from Forest Trace, which many people know our flagship community for its vibrant, lively, independent activity on 72 acres with a 34-acre pond or lake. It's super beautiful, guys. So if you've never toured Pacifica Forest Trace and you want to call me at that 954 543-0773. Whether you're looking for independent assisted living or memory care, or maybe you're a professional and you just want to know a little bit more about who we are, you can call me and I will schedule that tour with you. Or our Pacifica Sunrise community, which is a beautifully renovated. If you haven't seen those renovations, you also still need to call me for that tour. It is literally like walking into a beautiful hotel. It's so great. We've got some really new social areas, ice cream parlor, a bar area. Sobe Innovative Rehab actually will have their own gym there that not only will service our residents, but also clients that need any sort of physical therapy or any sort of therapy. So that's a really cool innovation there. And then obviously Meridian at Lantana, which we've been spotlighting tonight, which is a dually licensed independent assisted living, meaning you're independent living, you're moving in, in a few years you might need a little bit more assistance. Well, guess what? You don't have to move across town or into another building to continue to get your care. So that is a very unique option that you have at Meridian at Lantana. And I think we've already talked at length tonight about how delicious your dining will be with Chef Steve there, right? And then you have Pacifica Palm Beach, which if you joined us last week, has a very unique cottage style format for the memory care. And Kathleen Raymond, who has done every job there at Palm Beach, really, really understands what your loved one needs and how to best take care of them. She has not only been in the business office and done activities, she's also done front desk. She's also been the community relations director doing the marketing there. And she is now the brand new executive director at Pacifica Palm Beach. So I think I could go on all day at how many amazing options you have when it comes to Pacifica Senior Living here in South Florida. And just know that while we want your loved one to move to our community, we truly believe that it's the best option. We are still your resource for senior living here in South Florida, meaning call me. You don't know if one of our communities could fit for you. And if you need other options, I can help you with that. We've got a really great consortium of healthcare professionals in SNALA. It's the Alliance, the Skilled Nursing and Assisted Living Alliance, which has ironically been doing a lot of different pop-ups at some of our Pacifica communities. So you heard about the pop-up with Pacifica Meridian at Lantana. We've also been doing some between our Pacifica Sunrise and Pacifica Forest Trace communities. And what these pop-ups allow these professionals to do is to learn more about each other so they can continue to help you, our community, our general public, right? So that we are more and more informed about how to help you. So my point is that number, the 954-543-0773, is a great way for you to get connected to resources. Albeit, we would love for you to be a new neighbor at one of our Pacifica communities. We also want to be able to help you. We want you to know that we are your advocate here, that we can connect you with those things that you need, whether it be for yourself or for your loved one, or maybe just for someone that you know that needs connections to those. I get those calls as well. So please feel free to reach out to me at any time. There's my direct number, which I do give out often as well, 954-773-5860. That is a number that you can text, that you can call, and if I don't know the answer, I will get you to someone who can. That is my guarantee to you. Alrighty, so guys, one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit more too was about that May 12th summer shindig at Meridian at Lantana. We are very excited to start hosting people in small groups on the outside, socially distanced. All of our residents have received their vaccines, and we're moving forward with an expectation of hope, and want to invite our community to come in and see what we're doing in the safest way possible. So on our next show, I will have even more information for you, but mark your calendars for May 12th at Meridian at Lantana for the summer shindig. Also in May, the day before that, May 11th, we have scheduled a Mother's Day event at Pacifica Forest Trace. And if you, again, have never seen our big sprawling community, you're going to understand why this is going to be a beautiful event. So we're calling it Jazz and Tea on the Green. And once you get there, you'll see what we're talking about because you've got beautiful green spaces with large cypress trees, a beautiful lake, and it's going to be a Mother's Day tea and complete with jazz. So that is going to be on May 11th starting at 2 p.m. And again, you'll have a flyer for that soon. I just wanted you guys to be able to mark your calendars so that you can know what's going on at Pacifica. There's some other things that'll be coming up shortly too for Sunrise and Palm Beach. We tend to keep your calendar full, and not just because we want you to come and see about us, but because we want to make sure that you're staying connected with your community as well. That's one of our desires. So we're going to go to commercial real quick, and I'll be right back. Thanks for joining us here, Pacifica Live, hosted by Pacifica Senior Living. We come to you every other Monday at 7 p.m., so if you're joining us on Facebook, be sure to like and share. You can dial 954-543-0773 to schedule a tour at any of our beautiful South Florida communities today.
To each is given a little pouch tied with a silver cord. Inside you may find a silvery seed. Inside a tiny dome, it's your happiness chromosome. I believe each life gets one share, one seed to each. But how to grow this happy life is very hard to teach. A life filled with happiness, with noble attitude, and a sense for finesse is a life truly blessed. In that pouch you'll find indeed all you need for your happiness seeds. You may choose to grow this chromosome seed and build a solid home. But if you get stressed and easily depressed, and you think of those who are more prepossessed, your anger will endanger the chance for romance and allure that is rightfully yours. And while others keep tilling their joyful garden, you'll mourn your fate as your heart will harden. But remember, friend, you too were given the same pouch, the same potential. Your life may have turned out sensational. You too were invited to the prom. So enjoy your happiness chromosome.
Pacifica Senior Living is proud to do what we love and truly believe in providing compassionate, personalized care that ensures dignity and respect for all of our residents. We'd love for you to join the Pacifica Senior Living family and settle into one of our senior living communities here in sunny South Florida that will have you or your loved ones enjoying your retirement years to the fullest. Contact us today to join the Pacifica Senior Living family. We can't wait to welcome you home. Call 954-543-0773. You're listening to Pacifica Live, hosted by Pacifica Senior Living. Dial 888-565-1470 to join in on the show today. Catch us on Facebook, Twitch, Roku, LinkedIn, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Simply search AMP2 TV Productions. Now here's our show. Enjoy. So do you see what we did there? We gave you a little bit of extra happiness chromosome poetry corner by giving you the titled poetry piece, The Happiness Chromosome, again, read by Aiden Pollard. And I know a lot of people are asking, where can they get this book? And guys, I promise you, on the next show, you will have information on how to get your hands on The Happiness Chromosome by Gail Banter and any of her other books. She's also written 2 other books. I think it's The Cloister Oyster and another one. So you'll get all of that information on the next show, I promise. And she's going to be thrilled to know that people are loving her pieces. And it's really cool because she got a chance to meet Aiden via a video call the other day. It was just a great thing. I love seeing the intergenerational connection that happens, and she does too. That's actually one of her hearts, is connecting the youth with the wise, with our aged population and our youthful generation, connecting them together so that we can really see what we're capable of and be the person that we were meant to be. So it's so lovely to see her interact with him, and she loves his voice. She said that she would be honored if he would read every single one of her pieces, and he said he would be honored to read them. So there will be more. It may not always be Aiden Pollard's voice, but you'll be able to see it more and more as we go along. So that was the happiness chromosome. And again, I promise that you will have information on how to get your hands on this book by the next show. Remember that next show is not next Monday. It is every other Monday. So it won't be next Monday. It'll be the Monday after that. If you'd like to call into the show before we wrap up, you can dial the 888, what was it? 565 1470. You think I would have that memorized, especially since I have it right here in front of me. Did I tell you that it was Monday? It is Monday, people. Call in. Whenever I'm alone on the table, it feels like I'm rambling just a little bit. So I apologize for any inconvenience I may have caused you. It's just the Monday that it is. I did want you guys to remember those dates again. May 11th, which is the Jazz and Tea on the Green at Pacifica Forest Trace, 2 o'clock. We do have a time for that. And then May 12th is the Summer Shindig at the Meridian at Lantana. We don't have a time for that just yet, or maybe we do. You'll know when we get the flyer to you next time, okay? I'm trying to think, was there anything? Does anyone have any questions? This is kind of one of those shows. We actually had our original guest this morning had to cancel, so that did kind of mess up the flow a little bit. So please forgive any sort of over commercials that you've gotten for this show. We gave you a lot more commercials than normal. But if you'd ever like to be a guest on this show, you can dial me directly at the 954-773-5860. And I'd love to have you as a guest on Pacifica Live. Our hope is that we can connect with people with other community resources. So on top of being able to, you have a question? Who has a question? Someone has a question?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I was wondering, how many of the Pacifica properties have memory care?
That is a very great question. Thank you. So actually, it's technically all of them. The only property that is waiting on their memory care, which should be done by next year, is Meridian at Lantana. Otherwise, Pacifica Forest Trace, Pacifica Sunrise, and of course, Pacifica Palm Beach, because it is a standalone memory care, the cottage style memory care, all boast of excellent memory care communities. Thank you. Thank you for that question. So again, guys, give me a call if you would like to be a guest on Pacifica Live. And again, while we are highlighting our Pacifica communities, we will have guests from our Pacifica community staff, as you've been able to meet. I believe you met someone from Meridian last time, or the time before that. Then you met Kathleen Raymond at Pacifica Palm Beach. Now you've met Chef Steve McCarthy over at Meridian at Lantana. But you also have been able to meet other community partners. So our very first show was Pedigo Boca, which is an electric bicycle shop, which I know sounds funny to have been the very first guest, but it actually caters towards the baby boomer. So I'm not a baby boomer, but I have a Pedigo bike. And what was so cool about it was that if you have any sort of like hip pain or joint pain, or you get tired a little easy, but you want to still ride a bike, you still want to explore, these electric bikes give you a motor assist so that your pedaling actually moves you a little bit faster depending on which speed level you're on with your motor. Or you can actually throttle it so that it kind of behaves kind of like a low speed motorcycle. And they also have special designs that allow people to have like a step through so they don't have to bring their leg all the way over. So it was just a really great first guest to have on our very first show. And again, we'll have some of our other guests from SoBe Innovative Rehab. We will have Dignity Memorial in the coming weeks. If you would like to be a guest on Pacifica Live, please dial the 954-773-5860. Alrighty. So we are going to get ready to close the show shortly. But before I do want to just say thank you to all of our staff. We know that we have gone through, and we're not all the way done yet, right? We still got a little bit more to do because we have vaccines that are still happening. We're still monitoring and ensuring that our residents are kept safe. We have our safety protocols. But just a round of applause to all of the staff that saw all of this through. We are over a year into this now, right? We've been taking care of residents. We've seen people pass. We've seen the frustrations of residents not being able to visit their families, the frustrations of the families not being able to visit their loved ones. And now that things are starting to open up more and more, we're just so grateful to everyone that saw this through. And a lot of times the staff in our independent assisted living and memory care communities don't always get the spotlight. Like in the hospitals, we know that they were also working feverishly and still do, by the way, to take care of people who have been admitted for COVID-19. But the unsung heroes of the day-to-day care that were given to protect the residents at our independent assisted living and memory care communities and skilled nursing, we just want to say thank you and a round of applause for you for sticking it through, not being afraid, continuing to do what needs to be done to ensure that people were living whole, healthy lives, and also standing by the sides of the family members who were experiencing this loss, right, of not being able to see their loved one and hug them and touch them. So I just want to thank you so much, and thank you to everyone else who supported us while we were supporting them, right? All right, guys, I am Melinda Pollard. I'm the Business Development Director for Pacifica Senior Living here in South Florida. It has been a wonderful hour with you. We will see you not next Monday, but the Monday following at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with our guest from Sobey Innovative Rehab, Dr. Sobey and Simone Dunkley. So make sure that you tune in. And we'll also have another piece from the Happiness Chromosome, and I will have the information on how you can get your little fingers on the Happiness Chromosome by Gail Banter. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us here, Pacifica Live, hosted by Pacifica Senior Living. We come to you every other Monday at 7 p.m. So if you're joining us on Facebook, be sure to like and share. You can dial 954-543-0773 to schedule a tour at any of our beautiful South Florida communities.